Good day. My topic is all about variance and standard deviation. What is the meaning of the variance? First, variance is a measure of variability. It is calculated by taking the average of square deviations from the mean. It also tells the degree of spread in your data set. The more spread the data, the larger the variance is in relation to the mean. We have here the two formula for the variance of ungrouped data. We have the population variance and the sample variance. The average of the square distance of each datum from the mean, and it is also parametric because it involves the mean. Is the number of population or sample. Standard deviation. Standard deviation is a statistic that measures the dispersions of a data set relative to its mean, and it's calculated as the square root of the variance. It also, the data points are farther from the mean, there is a higher deviation within the data set. Thus, the more spread out the data, the higher the standard deviation. So we have also two formulas for standard deviation for ungrouped data. For example, number 1 for ungrouped data, getting the variance. So solve for the variance and standard deviation of this sample. We have numbers 56, 35, 12, 20, 14, 28, and 15. So how can we get the mean? We have to add all the numbers and divide how many numbers are there. And so we have the value of mean 25.71. So next, let's make a table for this example. We have the value of x, 56, 35, 12, 20, 14, 28, and 15. So first thing to do is to get the value of x minus x bar. So let us just subtract the value of x to our mean. So the results are 30.29, next 9.29, next is 12 minus 25.71 is negative 13.71, and 20 minus 25.71 is negative 5.71. So do the same until na matapos. To get the value of x minus x bar squared, simply multiply the value of itself. So 30.29 times 30.29 is equal to 917.4841. Next is 9.29 times 9.29 is equal to 86.3041. So ganun din hanggang matapos. So we add a total of 1,481.4287. Next is, after adding all of this number, we will now have the value of our mean, which is 1,481.4287, where our n is 7 because we have 7 numbers there. Next is, by following the formula for the variance, we have s squared is equal to the summation times x minus x bar squared all over n minus 1. Since our is 1,481.4287 divided by 7 minus 1. So 1,481.4287 divided by 6, our variance now is 246.90. Next, after getting the variance, we will now solve for our standard deviation. For standard deviation, the formula is s is equal to the square root of summation of x times minus x bar squared all over n minus 1, or simply the square root of the variance. So since our value of our variance is 246.90, it is just the square root of it. We will now get our standard deviation, which is 15.71. Example number 2, solve for the variance and standard deviation of the sample below. We have 19, 35, 26, and 50, and 0. So again, the value of our mean here is 26. So the same thing what we do for example number 1. Let x 19, 35, 26, 50, and 0. First thing we do, we have to subtract the x to the value of our mean. So we have negative 7, 9, 0, 24, negative 26. And after that, we will get the square of this number. Negative 7 times negative 7 is equals to 49. Positive 9 times positive 9 is 81. And then 0. Tapusin natin hanggang matapos ang pagsusolve. And then, we will just add all of that numbers. Then, we came up into 1,382. So, now we have the result or the value of our mean. And our end now is 5. Let's substitute the formula of the variance. Since we have now the value of mean, so the formula for the variance is s squared is equal to the summation times x minus x bar squared all over n minus 1. So since we have the 1,382 value of mean divided by 5 minus 1. So our variance now is 345.50. Following the standard deviation formula, we have just to get the square root of our variance. Since the square root of our variance is 345.50, the square root of it is 18.59. So comparing the two examples, data set 1 versus data set 2. So data set 1, we have 56, 35, 12, 20, 14, 28, and 15. Data set 2, we have 19, 35, 26, 50, and 0. Mean, variance, standard deviation values, and mean also variance, standard deviation for data set 2. So the question there is which between data set 1 and data set 2 is more dispersed and why? So comparing these two, we came up into that data set 2 is more dispersed because it has a higher variance and standard deviation as compared to data set 1. So mas mataas yung data set 2 compared to data set 1, yung value ng variance at saka standard deviation. Next, formula in getting the variance for group data. So we have s squared is equal to the summation of f times x minus x bar squared all over n minus 1. So we have these symbols below. Formula in getting the standard deviation for group data. We have this formula of s is equal to the square root summation of f times x minus x bar squared all over n minus 1. So we have this symbol also below. So now let's have the example for group data. Find the variance and standard deviation for this frequency distribution given the scores and the frequency. For the scores, we have 54 to 58, 59 to 63, 64 to 68, 69 to 73, and 84 to 88. We have also the frequency given. For sample mean, x minus the summation of fx minus n. So that is the formula for the mean. And then the variance for group data is s squared is equal to the summation of f minus x times x minus x bar squared all over n minus 1. So, first thing to do to get the mean, point add the lower class limit and upper class limit divided by 2. So, let us just add the upper class limit and the lower class limit and divided by 2. So, we have the value of x 56, 61, 66, 71, 76, 81, and 86. Next, to find the fx or frequency and mean, multiply f to x. So, we just have to multiply the value of f to the x. So, the results are here 112, 305, 528, 0, 304, 405, 86, and we will just add all of that. So, we came up into 1,740. Next step is the sum of fx divided to the sum of f. So next is to get the variance, subtract each value of x to 69.6, which is the mean. So let us just subtract the value of x to 69 since we have 69.6 in the value of our mean. Subtract it. 56 minus 69.6 is equal to negative 13.3. Next is 61 minus 69.6 is equal to negative 0.6. So, ganun din hanggang matapos ang last item. Next, multiply the value of x minus x bar twice to itself. So, let us just multiply the value of x minus x bar to itself, twice to itself. So, we have here 100, negative 13.6 times negative 13.6 is equal to 184.96. So, gawin natin hanggang matapos sa pinakadulo na number. Next, multiply each value of x minus x bar squared to the f. So, 184 minus 0.96 times 2 is equal to 369.92. Next is 73.96 times 5 is equal to 369.8. So, gawin din natin hanggang matapos yung last number and then we will just add all of it. So, we came up to the result of 1,926. So, now let's substitute the result by following the formula of the variance. Squared is equal to the summation of f times x minus x bar is x bar squared all over n minus 1. So, s squared is equal to our result here is 1,926 all over 25 minus 1. So, our variance now is 80.25. So, to find the standard deviation, just the square root of the variance. Since the result of our variance is 80.25, it is just the square root of it, we will get the standard deviation. So, our standard deviation now is 8.96. So, that would be all my report. Thank you.